We're looking at a dose of recovery, and even for the Indian rupee after getting hammered on investor disappointment to that budget as well. Thank you so much for that. And we're also going to get a quick checkup on how oil is faring. Remember, Chinese PMI numbers, HSBC's final, along with the official Chinese PMI, disappointed. So ultimately, we are looking at a lower picture as well. A lot of growth concerns, not to mention the glut of supply out there as well. NYMEX crude, 91.90. Take a look at Brent crude, 111.4 on your charts there. Now, one country that very much depends on commodities is Russia, according to the World Bank. The economy is losing momentum due to flat oil prices, high inflation, and uncertain global environment. Growth could slow to 3.3% this year, far below the 5% target set by President Vladimir Putin. But our next guest says there is still good reason to invest in Russia, and that is why he is right here on set with us in Singapore on a non-deal roadshow. He is traveling around the region as well. We're delighted to have Andrei Sharonov, Minister of the Moscow government, joining us on a first on CNBC interview. He is in town for the Destination Moscow Roadshow 2013. Well, Minister, very nice to have you on set with us. Now, we were just looking at the oil chart. It is at $111 for Brent, a 6-week low. Some analysts have been saying if oil, Brent, at goes below 115, it makes countries like Russia in a very vulnerable situation. So as you are on a roadshow, and investors are looking at oil charts, is it a tougher case to persuade potential investors that Russia still has what it takes to invest?
First of all, we are talking mostly about the Moscow city rather than the whole Russia. But nevertheless, if you are interested in our dependence on oil and gas, we're still very dependent on these resources. But Russia suggests another opportunities to invest in its transportation, its telecommunication. And what we are looking for, especially in the Moscow city, is a smart money. It's investing to the startups and innovative technology.
Right, right. But then again, the World Bank, I believe, has ranked Russia as the 120th place in terms of doing business. President Putin has vowed to move that up to 50th, but ultimately, when you're trying to woo investors in Asia, you're up against a really strong competitor, i.e. China.
Sure.
How do you tell them, especially in a place like Singapore, Russia is a better place than, let's say, China?
First of all, Russia is a unique place, like many others.
Okay.
You know this joke. And we are trying to persuade both World Bank experts, just some controlling session of World Bank for many countries in terms of this rating, doing business is starting, and to improve our position in the current rating. By the way, we are number 112, not 120 already, but the goal is to get into first 20 countries in terms of investment climate, and it's the task for the next 6 years, and I hope we will do as much as possible in terms of construction permission, in terms of connection to electricity network, in terms of registration of companies and registration of assets. It's 4 main criteria we are assessed by World Bank in terms of this doing business rating. So we will improve our position, and we are talking with people, giving them ideas about sectors both in Moscow and in Russia which are interesting, except oil, which are interesting to invest.
How do you make that a compelling case for social infrastructure along with privatization when there are also concerns about cronyism, corruption, not to mention government red tape?
It's true. We're trying to show, to demonstrate some progress in terms of general investment climate, rules of law, in terms of independence of court system, in terms of regulation burden and all this stuff. And in the same time, some particular opportunities in privatization, in transportation and utility infrastructure, in social infrastructure. For example, in Moscow, we have launched the first PPP project in big hospital. It's a concession agreement for 49 years. With the private investors, which should invest more than $100 million to this hospital and to provide new services for Muscovites.
Well, that is great to hear, and good luck with your roadshow, and delighted to have you on set with us. Andrei Sharonov, Minister of the Moscow government, giving us a bit of a progress report there, and still much more to come here on CNBC.